All right, gang. So we've been talking here about mostly on the offensive side of the ball. I want to bring Chico back in here. We're talking with Big Dog Chico. We're talking with Dylan here, Mr. Betts in Denver himself. But I want to talk about things on the defensive side of the ball. So, Chico, tell me why, we go to the defensive side of the ball. They bring in 23 transfers on defense. I like what they did on the D line, bringing in Buell from Ohio and BJ Green from ASU. Tell us why things are going to be different this year on defense for the Buffaloes.
All right. Last year's defense, I would say you brought in a lot of pieces and projects, guys who didn't have a lot of experience but had that potential who you thought can fit the program. And you brought in guys, with a short window to do that. This year, you had more time. You saw what you needed last year, and you bring in pieces that fit your program that had experience playing in the past. So you bring in a tandem like D. Hayes and Sam Okunlola from Pittsburgh last year. I think both of them have four or five sacks, but great edge rushers to go along with a guy like BJ Green. Quincy Wiggins from LSU was a former high-rated four-star guy. Then you bring in Nikai Hill Green, the linebacker. So a lot of pieces this year that have played and have production in the past. I think if they can just gel together and mesh together before the start of this season in the next few weeks, I think you have a good defense to go along with this offense that can really put up numbers. The defensive line has been revamped, retooled the linebackers. Trevor Woods gotten better. Another year for Levante Bentley. Only questions really I have is the depth at the cornerback position, but you do have top heavy, I would say, with DJ McKinney, Preston Hodge, then Colton Hood has a lot of potential from Auburn to go along with Travis Hunter. The defense can be special this year. I like the safeties they brought in. Savion Riley came in from Vanderbilt. R.J. Johnson from Arkansas with Shiloh Sanders, Cameron Silman, Craig, and Carter Stockmeyer. So pieces there, talent is there, production is there. Can they gel and mesh together and really come together as a good defense that will propel this team to be great and give the ball back to Shedeur Sanders more times than not?
And I think, last year, the biggest problems was they were going up and down the field. Sean Lewis, in that flash offense, the defense would just be running off the field. The next thing you know, they're coming back on. So I
Exactly.
think, the offense can help the defense a little bit too, right?
Yep, exactly. Keep them off the field, get them some rest. But another key is, like I said, they have depth this year. They were last year. So if you go 2 and 3 deep on that defensive line that's being coached now by Warren Sapp and Damian Lewis, two former defensive linemen in the NFL, along with Vincent Dancy coaching the edges, you're going to have a more fired up defense, defensive line that's getting after it more consistently now because these guys are not going to be slacking off during the game. They're going to be just as fired up as a player. So, and then the players are going to want to play for those coaches who they know to have been there before. So I think a totally different defense this year, and it's going to surprise some people.
Yeah, and you mentioned, can this team gel? So we know how much the game has changed now with the transfer portal, bringing in, turning over the roster. From you, a guy that played the game and saw guys develop over the years. You mentioned depth and how important that is, and that's my concern is. Do you think this is sustainable? Just turning over the roster every year? Or do you think eventually they got to go, have some guys that come into the program, learn the culture, and develop, and so you have that depth.
Yeah, I mean, I think that eventually more schools will be able to go into the transfer portal and believe and rely on it. Um, some more than others. It depends on who your coach is. Do you have that charismatic coach that can attract these players to come want to play for you after leaving another school? I think Deion Sanders is in a unique situation to just use these things to his advantage. And the guys that he's brought over in the portal, as you see, the number one class is because of the sheer numbers and the quality of players that they've brought in this year. Can it sustain? We'll see this year, because it's
It's an
almost like
ongoing experiment,
it's an
Yeah.
ongoing experiment, but a lot of coaches, I think, just because it's something new, they're kind of staying away from it. They feel like they have to do it the old school way and develop players, but a lot of those players will have the opportunities to leave. Scholarships is just 1 year, not 4 years. You're not tied into that contract, so these guys can actually leave. So you're taking a chance with bringing in a high school guy, trying to develop him for 3 or 4 years, as opposed to, hey, I want to win right now. If you have a quarterback like Shador Sanders and they're in win now mode, I think we'll see Coach Prime take a shift after this year and concentrate a lot more on those high school guys that he feel like has the mindset and wants to come in and develop the culture, and stay there for years with him and produce a winning program. Like he said, he wants to build like an Alabama at Colorado. He's not looking to go anywhere else, not for a bigger school or better light. He has all the light right there in Colorado. He loves Boulder. He just got to get other people to realize, man, you can come up here, concentrate on football, get away from the bull junk, as he says, and develop. Once that light hits for a lot of these young guys, they'll realize I can go to Boulder. I think it's going to start though with a commitment from Julian Lewis. That's the main guy. If you can get a star-studded quarterback like that, and he's going to attract more players to come, and he's going to solidify the head coach staying there for years, then that's the key to building this program. I think past the Shador post the Shador Sanders era.